Hello, hello, everybody. And I think I did it right this time on the first try. Yes. Okay, so as you guys may or may not be able to tell, we're not really set up for demos today. So today is going to be a little bit different. Looks like our quality really sucks. Sorry, you guys, and I'm buffering on my own. Dang it. I don't know why my quality sucks so bad today. Anyway, we're just going to keep going and pretend like nothing is wrong. Please don't pay attention to my mess behind me. My paint mess is always like that. And let's see, that mess is the result. Look at it. And hopefully our buffering issues go away soon. So today, like I said, is going to be a little bit different. I wanted to talk about a post that was in the Facebook group. I don't want to talk about this post specifically, but it kind of brought up, a topic that I thought would be good to talk about. So there was a post talking about however you want to put it, losing your mojo, or just being in kind of an art slump, or how else do you guys want to put it? Anyway, you know what I'm saying. So that's really what I want to talk about today. I'm actually going to be taking some notes. So there's a project that I'm working on that this may or may not be related to. And yeah, I'm not prepared to talk about it any more than that. I know, I'm such a tease. I know. It'll be a while. So, okay. So let's go ahead and get started. An art block, exactly. So art blocks. So let's talk about art blocks for a minute. I know that one of the things, the main thing that I hear a lot with newer artists when they go through maybe their first art block ever, is they feel like this is it. This is the end. I have come to the end of my ability. I will never be able to paint again. It can be really shocking, and it can be really disheartening. And I feel so bad for you guys when you make posts talking about, going through an art block, because I can almost hear like the sadness or the stress, just the distress in your voice over going through this. So first of all, I want to let you guys know that it's normal. It's a totally normal thing. I have only ever heard like 1 or 2 artists say that they don't go through it. And I think that those people are freaks. They're freaks of nature, and they are quite possibly robots. And that's not natural. Don't trust robots. So, no, I mean, people who don't go through it, man, good for them. But I think that they are by far the minority of artists. I think that the vast majority of artists do go through it. And everybody goes through it differently, So let's see. When you very first go through it, chances are you're learning stuff. You might even be on a roll. You're painting, and it feels like you're going nowhere but straight up, learning everything you can, painting all of the things. And then one day is just broken. There's nothing else. You can't paint anything. Things that used to be easy are now really hard. Things you used to love, you now really dread. And there's a million reasons for it. And those reasons may change from person to person, but they may also change from day to day for a single person, or from block to block. Each block is a little bit different. And so as such, there's not really, unfortunately, I know that you guys are kind of hoping that there'd be like a fix. I'm going to tell you how to fix your art block. I can't really do that because what works for one person doesn't work for another. But and Debbie says I nailed it. Okay, then Debbie, hopefully that helps you feel a little bit better to start out so that you know you're normal and it's not the end of the world, okay? Okay, let me take that back. It can be the end of the world. But what that is dependent on is your attitude, okay? So you can choose to let it be the end of the world, or you can choose to let it be a bump in the road, which is really, guys, that's what it is. So if you find a bump in the road and you get off the road, that's the end. But if you just rough that bump out, you'll keep sailing on down the road. Okay, so let's talk about, and guys, feel free to brainstorm. I'm kind of watching the chat, and I will stop my rant when something comes up in chat that we need to talk about. So let's talk about some of the reasons why this might happen, okay? And feel free to throw out some of your ideas. Remember to put things in all caps just so they're easier for me to see, so I'm not going to sit here reading. Put it in all caps. Okay, so some of the reasons that I think that these happen are, it can be stress. And it doesn't have to be art-related stress. It can be stress from anything, You've got a lot of things going on, a lot of other things to do, whatever the stress of the moment is. And we all go through different stresses in our life. Some people actually handle personal stress by creating art. Some people are completely derailed in the creative process by stress. And I feel like I'm one of them. So if I'm under a lot of stress, even just outside of work, then I have a really hard time painting, a really hard time. Depression can kind of trigger those blocks. And again, there's other people who handle depression through art. But, everyone is different. So just because one person does, if you find that you're feeling down and you can't, that doesn't mean that you're broken, okay? Let's just make sure that that is clear. Everybody's different. For me, another thing that I find is if I'm pushing myself really hard, if I'm trying really hard every time I do a painting to be a little bit better than last time, a little bit better than last time, and I'm not really enjoying the process so much anymore as just really focusing on an outcome, oh man, that is probably my number one art block creator. That's what really just, I just hit a wall with that. For me, that's what I really have to focus on is enjoying the process and not trying to outdo what I did last or outdo what I believe your expectations are, things like that, because that stops me dead in my tracks. Kathy says, motivation missing. Excuse me. I believe that motivation, when you feel no motivation, that's part of an art block. When you feel that stress, do you paint or do you step back? I don't paint. I step away from it. Or else I'll do something completely different. Maybe scribble with a pen or just grab some watercolor and just watch the paint move. Not try for anything. But yeah, I do not strive for any kind of an outcome when I'm stressed out because I'm just going to end up getting more frustrated. When Nisa's stressed out, she curls up in bed. That is a great way to handle stress, I have found. Doing a challenge always helps Kelly. And that is awesome. And knowing that, Kelly, Knowing that is half of the battle. I think that, to back up again a little bit, sorry guys, my ears are peeling from my sunburn, and so I keep feeling it. It's kind of gross, I know. I think that the number one reason that a lot of people get so stressed out over art blocks is because they don't know what helps them. They don't know how to handle it. If you can identify, first of all, what causes your block, and second of all, what helps you overcome it, then that's all you need. That's all you need. The blocks are still going to come, but at least now you know how to deal with them. They won't be so stressful. But it can take a minute to figure out what helps you. So I'm gonna kind of throw out some ideas today, and I want you guys to, you know, maybe write some of them down and try them when you have a block and see what helps you. Pat says pressure to perform. Absolutely, man. That's like my number one art block creator. Sylvie says a change of scenery helps. And yep, I've heard that that helps a lot of people. Okay, so let's see, some other things that can cause it. Boredom. Honestly, boredom. If you're painting something that doesn't strike a chord with you, you're going to get bored with it. And if you get bored with it, why do you want to keep doing it? Why do you want to keep coming up with ideas for things that bore you? Of course you're not going to want to. So you need to make sure that you're painting things that speak to you, you know? And that's why a lot of times, sometimes you guys will ask for things. You're like, I want you to paint this. And I'm like, and then you never see it because it's not something that moves me. I know I'm going to get bored with it. I'm not going to be able to come up with an idea for it. And I will reach an art block. A lot of you guys who do commissions, I know there's a lot of you who work on commission basis quite a bit. I hear from you that you feel art blocked a lot. And I think part of that is because people say, I want you to paint this. And we say, okay. And we try to paint that. We're like, we have the skills to do it. We should be able to do it. But if you're not interested in it, you're going to get bored. You're going to get blocked. Karen says fear of failure. Yeah, and I think that kind of goes under pressure to perform. And failure is something that we've talked about quite a bit. I have that blog post that I did a couple weeks ago about that. So yeah, failure, absolutely. So if you're kind of in a fear of failure mode, go read that blog post. Hopefully that helps you. Yep, I'm with Cindy. I don't do commissions. I remember I used to be a metalsmith and I made a lot of jewelry and I loved it. I loved it. I loved it until I went down the commission rabbit hole. When I had people ask me, can you make this? Can you make this? Can you make this? And I was like, oh, I want that money. Of course I can make that. And then I found myself making a bunch of jewelry that I hated. And it took so much of the joy out of it for me. And I found myself, you know, getting creatively blocked a lot more often. So I'm not saying don't do commissions. I'm just saying that if you do commissions, be aware of that and always be okay saying no. If something's not in your style, it's not something you want to paint, you don't have to do it. Say no. Comparison. Katrina says comparison. Absolutely. Comparison can really be harmful. You know, if you have like a great idea and you're like, oh, I can't wait to do that. And then you see, you know, a painting that somebody else did and it might make you feel a little deflated and it just kicks the wind right out of your sails. And then you don't know what to do because you don't know how to make it better than what you perceive you need to be to compare with someone else. But here's the funny thing about that, guys. There are a lot of people that you might look at and go, oh, I could never compare with that. but they're looking at your art and they're thinking the exact same thing. The exact same thing. I know that sounds like a line, and it's true. You know, I have so many friends who are professional artists, so many friends, and I have seen that exact same thing at work time and time and time again. So, and comparison, everybody's different. Nobody compares to anybody else. Why would you compare yourself to someone else? You know, you don't know how many hours they put into doing whatever it is they do. You don't know, you know, anything about their process, so you can't compare yourself to them. You need to be happy with what you're producing and happy with the path that you're on and the steps that you're taking to, you know, continually improve and just love the journey that you're on, not looking at somebody else's and wishing that you were on that one, because you don't know what their journey consists of. You really don't. The grass is always greener and all that, right? Yeah, Karen's afraid that the person won't like it. And that's another thing that comes with commissions, man. And so just real quick, I don't want to get derailed and talk about commissions, but one piece of advice, if you do commissions, charge at least 50% upfront, non-refundable. If they don't like it, tough. They don't have to take it, but that initial amount that they paid is non-refundable. That is a common practice in commissions, and I know that right off the bat you won't feel comfortable with it. But trust me, from experience, take at least 50% non-refundable. Anyway, what else do you guys have about why these are caused? Another thing that I think for me does it is just not, you know, just not taking a break, just going from one to the next, being in perpetual motion. At some point you run out of gas. You know, I read something somewhere, so I'm not trying to plagiarize someone. If I could remember where I read it, I would tell you. But they basically said that creativity is like a well. You know, those old wells where you have to go over and like prime the pump, and you do that a few times and then the water starts coming out. Well, that's kind of how creativity is too. You know, once it's going, you can hold your bucket under it and all this water is coming out, all this creativity is coming out, but eventually it's going to stop because that's how it works. And so to get more out, you can't just keep holding the bucket under it and get mad and yell at the pump because there's no more creativity coming out. You have to prime that pump again. So you have to stop what you're doing, prime the pump, and wait for more to come out. And creativity is the exact same way. So you have to figure out how to prime that creativity pump, okay? How to get that creativity flowing again. And it's different for everybody. So let's see. Okay, Debbie, we're going to talk about that right now. Kelly says that meditation helps. Yeah, it really can. Oh my gosh, you guys. There is a creativity meditation video that I've used that is so good. It is so good. Is Christopher something?
Which video?
The creativity meditation video.
I don't remember his name. I can look it up.
Yeah, if you could and post it in the group. Hey, it's got all of the picture on YouTube has like a bunch of jars with different colors splashing out of it. Okay?
Jason Stevenson?
Maybe. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Will you post the link in the chat?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so Vince is going to post this, and I promise you, just try it at least once. I felt like it really helped me. Okay, so let's talk about how to kind of bust out. So if you're not sure what helps you, I want you to take notes, and I want you to try a few things and see what works. Okay, so let's see. So we have a lot of votes for meditation. So try meditation, whether it's just personal meditation, you're just quiet and alone and, or with music, or like that meditation video that Vince posted, whatever. Maybe try meditation. Deb says that music helps. And I hear that probably 90% of the time. People say that, just cranking up the music, putting on some music that they absolutely love and cranking it up helps. For me, and I love music, love, love, love music. For me, that doesn't do anything. I tune it out. I don't listen to it, or it makes me feel antsy. I personally can't listen to music as a way to help me get out of that. But that helps a lot of people, so try that. Some music. Casino helps, Nisa. Or go to the casino. My right ear is all red. I'm sure it is. Watching paint videos or reading painting books. Okay, so let's talk about that. Katrina just nailed one. So painting videos. Christina, is Christina here? She's not here, is she? I think I bring her up because she commented on that post as well. So I figure it's okay if I talk about Christina. I think Christina's kind of been doing that too, because for a long time she was doing a lot of originals and commissions and stuff, and I didn't see her posting a lot of tutorials. But she recently did the poppies in the field painting, and she said that she had been having a hard time, painting recently, and she did such a great job, and I feel like that can for sure help. It's the saying about bodies in motion tend to stay in motion. And I think it's the same thing with art. If you just kind of sit there and stare at your canvas waiting for inspiration, you're not in motion. It's not going to happen. So do something simple. Do a tutorial. Do a painting that you've done a million times. It's just a way to get you moving. It's that movement that for a lot of people, including me, just that movement is kind of, starting to prime the pump. Sometimes I'll just take a junk canvas and a random paint color and a random brush and just almost like start sketching. No plan. Let's talk about no plan for just a second, okay? I tell you guys so often, no plan. But I think that a lot of people think that means you can have a plan, just say you don't. You can have a goal, just say you don't. No, that is not what I mean at all. Here's how we start without a plan, okay? I have a marker here because that's what I had handy. I have an envelope here. Here's exactly how I start on a canvas when I don't have a plan. I might go, and then kind of analyze, well, what do I see in it? Maybe I don't see anything. Then I'll grab another one and I'll do it again. Just something, see, I'm just kind of scribbling. There's nothing going on up here, which is pretty standard for me. But, just little scribbly marks and see what you see. I look at this one now and it kind of looks to me like maybe there's some bushes of flowers here. Maybe this little opening is a little path. Maybe this is some kind of a tree that's hanging over. And now I have an inkling of an idea. It's that simple. It's that simple. This isn't me going, I have no plan. I'm gonna make this creepy tree, but I don't know what's going around it. I'm just doing this creepy tree with no plan. That's not going at it with no plan. I mean, zero plan. Have a conversation in your head. Listen to a movie. Watch a movie. Don't look at what you're doing. Just watch TV. Look at it afterwards and think about it. Those are the kind of things that really help me. That helps me a lot. There was, the other thing that Katrina said was reading painting books. Guys, I have started collecting art books lately. Like technique books, color theory books. The vast majority of it is stuff that is meant for absolute beginners, people who have maybe never touched a paintbrush before, or it's about oil painting and I don't oil paint, or it's about mixed media and collage and I don't do mixed media and collage. I'm not even interested in doing collage at all, but I buy these books. And I buy these books because sitting down, reading it, listening to someone else's perspective, looking at art that is totally different than what you do, totally different than anything that you would do, is really inspiring. I have several books that halfway through it, and I typically will read these books in like 1 or 2 sittings when I'm going through a block, because I'm like voraciously reading it. But about halfway through the book, I want to just like throw the book up in the air and rush to my easel and start painting to see what happens. For me, that's another thing that really gets me going, is reading a book. And I can probably start like a little list of books that I have that inspire me so that you guys can, at least know somewhere to start. The cool thing is on Amazon, if you go there and you look up a book, just find an art book, you can go down a little rabbit hole, right? Because below that, it's like, oh, other books you might like. And you can go and you can click on all of those and look at all of those and put them in your wish list. And then whenever you're going through a funk, go buy one. Go treat yourself to a book. And yeah, I think for me, that's one of my favorite ways. So I've been buying a lot of books. Not lately, but this year I've bought several books. Lisa says that journaling, writing your thoughts down. Yep, absolutely. I can see how that would be very helpful for someone. That's not something that I do, but I can for sure see the value in that. And maybe that's something that I should try, when I go through it. Let's see, what else? God, this dumb thing keeps jumping, and then I miss comments and stuff. Use a new tool, Sylvie says. Absolutely. I know, Olaf keeps walking by. He already got to go for a walk today, so he's good. Videos work for Katrina. Seeing others getting excited about art makes me excited about art. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep, my organizer. I got that at IKEA. It's the Algot series, if you're interested. It has those drawers on both sides. And then that's the tabletop where, like the 30 Days of Art, when I was filming straight down, it was the top of that when I was doing the videos. I love that thing. It's, what was I going to say about it? I was going to say something about it, and now I can't remember what. I don't know. Anyway, I like it. Debbie, I feel the longer it goes, the more intimidating it is, like I lost the ability. Debbie, you have to remember what I said before. You did not lose the ability, okay? There's 2 ways that you can handle that. We're going to call them bumps on the road because that's what it is, right? There's 2 ways you can handle the bump in the road. You can stand there and look at it and go, oh, there's a bump. Guess I better get off this road. Or you can drive around it, just plow right over it, but keep going down the road, however it is. It's only the end if you get off the road. So you have the control with that. Do I have my very first painting? I've painted on and off my whole life, so I don't know what my actual first painting would be. I never got serious about it because I always thought, like growing up, I just figured that I didn't have it. My mom and my grandpa were artists, so I thought, oh, it's in my blood then. And then I painted something and it looked like junk, and I was like, oh, no, I guess I didn't get that gene. I didn't realize that I had to learn it. So I never got serious about it. But I know I have a lot of my old paintings still, mostly because Vince won't let me throw them away. Lisa wants to know about the painting Olaf keeps showing us in the yellow room. That is a big painting that my friend Jessica did. It's kind of a funky Starry Night-ish type painting. I'm actually going to take that one down and move it somewhere else. I'm going to do 2 big abstracts to go right there. Oh, are you going to come say hi? No? Okay, he's not. Let's see. It is scary, you guys, but don't... If you are afraid when it happens, then you put more pressure on yourself and you make it worse. So let's finish this, and then we're going to go through a 12-step plan. There probably won't be 12 steps, but we're going to call it a 12-step plan. We're gonna develop a plan together that helps at least get you started figuring out what helps you, okay? All right. And I'm going to be doing this off the top of my head. I know I should have planned this a little bit better and, you know, had this all written out and presentable to you, but I'll write a blog post for next week about this, actually, and then you can refer to it there, and hopefully that will be helpful. So, I got the YouTube gene. Thanks, Vince. Yes, Katrina, exactly. Get back to basics. Do a simple painting. Don't try and knock out a masterpiece. I can't tell you how important that is. You know, I have a little doodle that I did recently, well, a little while ago. It's like the simplest, dumbest thing, just so simple and dumb. And there was like no thought into it, but it was so much fun and it got me excited again. And I felt like that was really all I needed. I just needed to get excited about it again. But yeah, going from, oh, I can't do it anymore to, all right, I must paint the Sistine Chapel today. You're just setting yourself up for more failure, more stress. So don't do that to yourself. It's 100% normal. The people who don't go through it are the abnormal ones. Guys, I go through it all the time. And I feel like I probably go through it more than you guys do because, you know, I have a lot more pressure with it than most of you do. And I'm trying to come up with a painting that the world will love every single week. And there's a lot of stress in what I do, a lot of stress. And so, yeah, I go through it a lot, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. So it's just figuring out how to get past it. So let's figure out how to get past it. Okay. Okay. So number 1, hey, Vince. Oh, never mind. Nothing. So somebody in chat take notes for me, okay? When I say number 1, we write this down and put it in the chat. So the number 1 thing you need to do when going through an art block is step back and recognize that you're in an art block. Just recognize it. Okay. I'm having a really hard time right now. I feel like I am blocked. That's all you have to do. That is number one. Number two is, let's see, I'm trying to think of like what I do, how I handle it. Take a break. Go watch TV. Take your dog for a walk. He's laying right there. He's already had his for the day. Take a break. You know, watch TV. Do something that is not art related. Okay? This is a pitfall that I find myself in a lot, okay? And so I can tell you here's what not to do. When you take your break, don't take your break by going on to Pinterest and looking for inspiration, or going on to Buh-bye and looking for inspiration, or diving into your stash of art books to look for inspiration. I mean, take a break from art. No art. Don't think about it. Don't look at it. Go do something just for you. Go shopping. Go scrub the toilet. Go brush your teeth. Whatever. Do something. Okay? Number three is kind of evaluate. Just step back and say, okay, why do I feel like I am experiencing this art block? You know, am I under a lot of stress at work or at home? Am I just putting too much pressure on myself? Am I bored with what it is that I've been painting? You know, ask yourself all of these types of questions. Figure out why. Don't say something vague like, well, nothing is turning out right. Well, why? Why aren't things turning out right? Are you pushing yourself farther than what your abilities, you know, if you are, sorry, my eye really itches. If you're at the level of painting like paint night type paintings, okay, just for an example, if you're at that level and you're trying to do a recreation of a Van Gogh that's very true to the original, you might find yourself really frustrated, you know. So identify why things aren't working out. Don't be vague. Be as specific as you can. Once you've identified, okay, so this is number 4. Once you've identified why you feel blocked, now it's time to try and fix that, okay? If you're stressed out, you know, with work, maybe don't make any art until that's resolved, or just do smaller, quicker things that you can do in moments when you're really stressed out. Grab that marker and, you know, start scribbling on an envelope, whatever it is. If you're pushing yourself beyond your abilities, go back to basics. You know, do something a little bit more simple. But identify the specific and then take action to repair that. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5, I think, really just kind of flows out of number 4. It's really taking action. Do not sit there in front of your canvas and look at it and wait for an idea to smack you over the head. It could happen. Those kind of things happen sometimes, but they don't happen very often. And a lot of times when they happen, they're not of the highest quality. So you have to get in motion. Just do something, whether it's scribbling on an envelope with a marker. I actually really like that composition, and I'm not just kidding. I kind of like that composition, so I might go do something with that. Scribble on an envelope. Grab a junk canvas that you're about to throw out and a random paint color, or that one color of paint that you have like 4 tubes of that you never use. I have several of those. I'm like, why do I have 4 tubes of this? I don't even like this color. So grab that paint because you won't feel bad about wasting it. Grab a junk brush and just start doing something on the canvas. It's just movement. And little hints of ideas will start to form. That's how you start priming that pump. You know, go down the list of the ideas that we talked about already, whether it's listening to music or meditating. Pick one of those ideas, you know, reading art books, and sit down and do that one. And if that didn't seem to break it, don't do that one again. You know, try the next one on the list. What works for one person is not going to work for the next person. So you have to find what works for you. And that's what's really frustrating, I think, about, there's a lot of books and blog posts about how to overcome artist block. And I know because I've read a bunch of them. And they're all like, listen to music, go for a walk. What are some of the other common ones I always hear? I don't remember, but I read that and I'm like, oh, that's what all of these stupid blogs say, and that doesn't work for me. So you have to figure out what works for you. Anyway, that was 5. Just take action. Do something. It might take a few times. Eventually, you will figure out what specifically breaks your block. And the caveat to that is it might be different each time, you know? So maybe what has broken your art block the last 4 or 5 times has been reading art books. And you feel pretty confident in that. And today you're like, ah, crap, I got an art block. I'll go check out my handy selection of books. Maybe I'll even buy me a new one, start reading them, and it's not gone. Please don't jump off the road. It's still just another little bump. You might just have to try something else this time. Some of the art blocks will be over in an instant. 5 minutes, an hour, a day. Some art blocks are going to take a lot longer. And the main thing, the most important thing, again, I've said this already, is if you have a passion for art, if you want to keep making it, then there's no block too big that you can't overcome it. So no matter how horrible the block seems, that little bump in the road, don't get off the road because of it. Keep going. God, there was something else I was going to say. I had something I was like, say that next. And now it's gone. But, oh yeah, if, you know, like I said, if making art is something that you're passionate about and that you want to keep doing, you can overcome a block. If you're like, meh, if I don't make art, I'll do something else, then it's okay if you get off the road if you get an art block. If you're not passionate about it, you know, why do it? But if you're passionate about it, why not do it? You know, don't stop because it gets hard. Okay. Whew. Now I'm exhausted now. Okay, let me see if I missed anything. Drink wine. Yes, drink wine. Thank you, Eileen. Eileen got, and I know 5 was really big. Eileen got all the points. I will make sure and come back and I'll write a blog post about this. It'll be a little bit more organized. So you guys won't be like, wait, didn't she just say that? Wasn't she just talking about that? It'll be much more organized. Karen, exactly. There's no timetable. There is no timetable. There's no rule. There's no guide. There's no standard. Everybody's art blocks are going to be different. And a single person, their art blocks are going to be different from one to the next. So you just can't let anything freak you out. As long as you have the desire to keep doing it, you will find a way to overcome it. I promise. There should be a pill. Um, good, Kelly. I'm glad. I'm really glad. Good, Katrina. Oh, good, Gwen. So let me tell you kind of the main things, and then we can just kind of chat. I'm probably, maybe, done lecturing after this. Let me just tell you the last couple things that I think are really important to help avoid them as much as possible. I think they will still happen, okay? These are some things. Eileen, do you want to take a couple of notes on these as well? These are a couple of things that I think are really important to avoiding them in the first place as much as possible. First, do not paint with pressure. Pressure is a killer of creativity. Do not compare. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't compare, don't even compare yourself to yourself. That's a hard one. And I find myself doing that too. Comparing what you're trying to do to something you've done in the past, that can be maddening. That can be a real killer. So no comparison. Take breaks, which is exactly why we are on season break right now, because I don't do real well at taking breaks. So take breaks. Paint things that you're passionate about, not what you think others want to see, and that's a hard one for me. I can't paint only things that I'm passionate about, because I think 90% of you would be like, what is she painting now? But but that will kind of go for you guys with commissions, who do a lot of commission work. If you're doing a lot of paintings that you're not passionate about, you need to find time for yourself to do something that you're the only one who's passionate about it. You don't ever have to show it to anybody else, but fulfill that need within yourself, okay? Take breaks. Okay, thanks, Eileen. Now I can make sure I'm not repeating myself. Mix up your routine. Really mix up your routine. Don't look for inspiration in the same old places all the time. I mean, if you have a source, an inspiration source that always works for you, I'm not telling you don't look at it, but maybe go to another source once in a while first, and then come to your trusted source. But mix up where you get your inspiration from. And I don't just necessarily mean like websites or Pinterest or whatever. I mean, whether it's music or even meditation, or I get a lot of ideas when I'm waking up in the morning or asleep. I'll wake up and I'm like, that is a great idea. And then I wake up all the way, and half the time I'm like, that's not really such a great idea. That's kind of dumb. But whatever your inspiration source is. And just be happy with the journey that you're on. Overall, that's kind of an overarching thing. You have to be happy with where you are, where you've come from, and where you're headed. And if something, art should only be about your happiness. That's all it should be about. If you are truly happy making your art, you will make others around you happy as well. So you have to go into it with kind of that hedonistic view, right? You have to go into it with no purpose at all other than making yourself happy. So if something about your journey is not making you happy, get rid of it. Change it. do something else. And that's it. I think that's it. I might add more when I write the blog. Very passionate about this topic. Okay, so yeah, Zenip says write down your ideas. Absolutely. Karen says be good to yourself. Yes. Good, Karen. I'm so glad to hear that. Oh, this was such a great talk, wasn't it? I loved this talk. I loved today. I really did. And I'm really glad that all of you guys came to be here. And I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna write a blog post. But here's another thing, you guys. When you feel like this, I want you to have a conversation with someone. We all have, at least one art friend that we can have, these kind of open and honest conversations with. Get that friend and have that conversation. I'm not saying just bemoan, oh, I'm so art blocked. I mean, like, discuss it. Like we've talked about it today, because I don't think I'm necessarily art blocked right now. I kind of just finished an idea, and so I'm kind of looking for my next big idea. But this is usually like when I get blocked is when I'm looking for that next idea. Might try a couple things and then find myself at a brick wall. So, but I have an idea that I'm actually going to go work on as soon as we're done here that I'm kind of excited about. So we'll see. But I don't know what I was saying. Anyway, talk to a friend. Oh yeah, because it's like inspiring. Like I'm excited right now and I'm not even art blocked and I feel like I want to jump up and go paint. I want to be like, okay, bye guys, and go paint because I'm really excited about it right now. And I hope that you guys feel that way too. Oh, and you guys love the new brushes. Yay. I love them too. I'm super excited about them. I'm really glad that this has helped you guys. I'm really, really glad. Now, finally, and this doesn't need to go on the list because this is just us. You guys, if you feel pumped right now, like I do, and you're like, yeah, like Katrina says, I'm ready to go paint now. And you rush over to that easel and you go, and you find that you're still art blocked, I want you to have the whole conversation all over again. At least remind yourself, don't get off the road because there's a bump in it. You'll find a way around that bump. It's just a bump. There will be another one. So, yeah. Oh, you guys, you made me feel so pumped. I'm going to paint so much today. I hope that this was helpful for you. I know that it was helpful for me, and I'm super excited to, oh, there is one more thing I want to talk about, and it can just take a few minutes. I want to know, when you're trying to come up with a painting, something you want to paint, I want to know what things do you struggle with the most? And I'm talking about the elements of the painting. I don't mean any of the things we've talked about right now. I'm talking about, is it the composition? Is it color theory? Is it, I'm looking at my notes. I have some notes here as well. Like what to paint, like a type of a painting, a landscape, a portrait, all of that stuff. Kind of throw a couple things out to let me know what specifically in a painting do you struggle with. Color, okay. Gwen struggles with sneak peeks. No sneak peeks. Values. Yeah, the middle of the road. Eileen, that's practice. If you struggle with middle of the road values, then you have to force yourself. Go 10 times darker than you're comfortable. Go 10 times lighter. Go straight black. Go straight white. Get it out there. That's the only way you're going to get over that. Okay, colors, lighting, perspective, scale. Okay. I'm just getting some ideas for that project that I told you I was working on. Oh, Glorbell, nice to see you. She needs a drawing class. You know where you have the best drawing class, you guys? Yourself. Doing it. Doing it. You guys have heard me say over and over and over and over and over again, I don't draw. I'm not good at drawing. I am not a good drawer. And today I decided to sit down. I took an image from Buh-bye of a subject that terrifies me, that I have never done to my liking. Paint, drawing, nothing. And I took a pencil, and in a quick, ugly, scribbly way like this, I just sketched what I saw really quick. I just looked at it and just quickly, without sitting there going. And you know what? It looks awesome. And I'm going to go paint it as soon as we're done here because I'm really excited about it. So if you have a hard time drawing, guys, do it. Draw, 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 draw. I promise you'll get better at it. Faster than you think you will. Too complex. I understand that, Pat. All right, guys. I think you guys have enough to digest for the day. And I have a painting I'm super pumped to go paint. And yeah, I'll get working on a blog post with the information that we came up with today so we can share it with the whole world. And I hope to see you guys again soon. I will schedule next week's events here in just a few days. So for those of you in Canada, happy Canada Day. And for those of you in the US, happy 4th of July coming up. So everybody be safe and happy and as artistic as you want to be. So I will talk to you guys soon.